down right there. It's been a long time coming to get to this point right here. Pretty excited how it all turned out. Everything bolted right together exactly the way it was supposed to. I know it's supposed to, but as we all know, things don't always work out like that. I left all the bolts loose so I could come back, put a tram gauge on it. Once I get it trammed in, I'll lock down the radiator support. I'm gonna put the fenders on then, put the hood back on, get the front end all lined up. I'm hoping that when I get ready to do the bags, I'm gonna have to probably cut on those inner wheelhouses a little bit just for clearance, for the brackets and things like that. Hopefully not too much. I'll come back and touch up with a brush with some POR15. Hopefully I don't have to take any of that back off. My next plan after I get everything locked down though, once I get the front end all on it, I gotta tear down the doors all the way and go ahead and then we'll start prepping the cab because like I said earlier in the beginning, I'm not gonna paint this thing. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna clean all this old tree sap and dust and crap off of it. I'm just gonna go with red scuff pad and some Comet, maybe a little Dawn, and just get it all cleaned off real good and scuff up this old raggedy looking blue that's on it. And I'm gonna spray it with some flat clear coat, kind of give it that satin look. And if it's got rust on it, well, it's gonna be clear coated rust. And if it's got chip paint, well, it'll be glued down with new clear coat. But that's the plan for right now. So we'll come back, we'll get it trammed out, get this thing locked down, and start putting some parts back on
it. So let me tell you something about this right here. Even though I put brand new clips on every single one of the mounting points for this fender, every one of these bolts was a pain in the butt and did not want to start. I actually had to edit parts out of this and speed it up just so it wouldn't get super boring. This is how we're going to start out, boy. Let's see how the rest of this goes. So on a good day, these fenders don't fit fantastic, let alone after it's been in a little accident somewhere in probably the 70s or 80s. And of course, this one, it fought every step of the way, as you can see right here. My frustration level was probably at about an 8 out of 10 in this deal because nothing would go right. And fortunately for me that I'm a pretty persistent guy, so eventually I get it, but it just seemed to be a whole lot harder than it really needed to be.
All right, well, as you see, I got the bolt started along the top up through there. Now let me show you an issue that I have with this. So, I don't know if you can't really see it, but right through there, the fender kind of has a bit of a buckle in it, buckled back, where somebody ran into something on the right front corner. I don't know, 1,000 years ago, I don't know. So anyhow, the fender's a little bit buckled. So because of that, once you get the front of it kind of mounted where it goes, you see the back of it right there, it's got a big gap. So I can't even get the bolt to start in it. Now the way that I lined it up before was I put the back of the fender on, I get the bolt in the bottom of it, then I kind of just grabbed it by the front, used the front as leverage to pull it up so I could get those bolts in right there at the top. So then I would just lock the bottom down where it needed to be, come back, lock the top in right there where it needed to be. Then I would come out here on the radiator support end and I would bolt it together. Well, I mean, as you've already seen, I've got that whole front because now with that wheelhouse in there, it overlaps that wheelhouse as you saw. So I can't put it on that way. So now what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to grab like a 2x4 or something and pry it between the tire and the fender and kind of just pry that dude back and kind of force it into place. Now, this gap won't be stellar, but whatever, man. It's a 77. It's been wrecked, I don't know, a couple times. It's an old milk truck. So I'll pry it back and I'm going to get that bolt started and probably put some shims in it. And at the top, I think I had to put some in it before. So I'll throw them in there and I'll get that gap looking as good as I can. So let me see if I can wrestle this dude into place now. All right, well, now, as you can see, the gap pulled together pretty nice at the bottom, but at the top, not so much. So now the fender's actually into the door just a little bit, and obviously it's back too far, so I got to pull the top of it forward and just kind of shim it out just a little bit because these bolts up here at the top, they're not tight anyway. So that's my next move. I'm going to try to see if I can jack this thing forward some kind of way. I may have to bring home a tool I use at work that does this very job. So I don't know. We'll see what I can get going here. Let's see if I can try to put you in here. That way I'm not totally in the way. All right, so let's see. Definitely gonna need to shim it out a little bit here. Let me see if I can grab me a couple shims. I got two. I'm pretty sure that's not going to be enough, but it's a start. Not bad. That would have been good to have had it closed all the way when I was trying to set the gap. It's actually not that bad now. It's better than it was anyway. I don't know if I can get that any tighter or not. I don't think so, not without really messing this all the way up. So, that's actually not that bad. Normally I would use like a spoon or something right here, but I don't have one of those at home. So, this is all chipped up already anyway, so maybe I'll just use a screwdriver. I'm gonna see if I can get two more shims. Hold tight. It'll be like a millisecond for you because I'm just gonna pause it. And I got shims. Luckily I was able to scrounge up a couple. I don't even really know why I had some here, but I had some, luckily for me, so. Let me get something I can pry this out with. Hey, that's not bad. What if I get it to come forward a little bit? It's not bad at all. I believe I'll snug that down. Now the one downside to this is that in order to get the door gap where it's, pretty good, somewhat flush to the fender, I'm in just a little bit, my fender to my cowl, so my hood won't be perfect right here, but it's a raggedy old truck. It'll be all right. I'm still gonna be pretty happy with it. When I'm dragging big old load of logs down the road on a trailer behind it, I don't think anybody's gonna notice that. If they do, piss on them. It's my truck. All right, start the bolts in the front. Phew! Ta-da!
All right, so if you remember earlier in the video, I talked about a tram gauge. Well, there it is. So I'm gonna tell you actually what this thing is and what it does. You see, it's got those pointers on each end of it, and it's completely adjustable in the middle. Now on late model cars, I would be able to get a printout that tells me exactly, gives me the points exactly where to measure from and tells me exactly what the measurement should be. so that I can square this front end up right. Well, obviously for this truck, I don't have any kind of printout for it. So what I had to do was use some existing bolt holes on the truck that are all symmetrical, so that way I can go back, I'll measure across one way, measure across the other way, see which side that it's longer, then I'll move the radiator support over to square it up. The whole reason why we want to square it up is that way when we put our hood on, the hood lock is going to match up to where the striker is on the hood itself. So you see me just making sure that the bolts are loose, everything can so the fenders can move freely. So get our last measurement right here, so we can see right now. When I measured a minute ago, it was actually long to the driver's side. So see, I got to go back right here, make sure that my point is clear of everything, not hitting anything, so my tram gauge can get in there good. Looks like that hood bumper was in the way. All right, got that moved. Now moving on. Like I said, we'll put it back in our fixed point there. I believe I used the top bolts and the radiator support on the outside, use the farthest points out for this. So right here, I determined that this thing needs to come over toward this passenger side just a shade. Look at that, perfect shade. Put it on there, lock it down. Give it one last check to make sure that the other side trams out and measures exactly the same. Dunzo.
All right, well, as you can see, it wasn't really far off. It just needed I think I moved it 1/8 of an inch over. So my radiator support is now square to my cab. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna lock down the 2 nuts that hold it to the frame. So once I get ready to line up the hood, the radiator support will be square, so I get the hood on square, it'll line up to the hood lock that way. Then the fenders and the wheel wells, they move independently of each other. So if I need to move them in or out, not really a big deal, I can do that, no problem. But I wanted to go ahead and get this kind of squared up and locked down. I was gonna go ahead and put the hood on next, but actually I'm gonna jump over to our old 2000 cab because it's still got the wiring that runs around the aprons and all that. So we're gonna jump over to that. I'm gonna label all the wires and grounds and things where they are on the wheel opening, or not wheel openings, on the aprons on the 2000 model, and label all that, then transfer it over to this truck. That way all our wiring will be done and I can get that stupid cab out of my driveway and I can put my drag boat back on that stand. So that's gonna be our next step. We'll lock this thing down, then we're gonna move over to that other cab.
Well, we ain't gonna do that today. So for starters, I'd like to say thank you for those of you that made it this far into the video that actually watched till the very end, because according to my analytics, a lot of folks don't. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know if they watch the first minute and a half and they catch the last minute and a half. I don't know. Whatever. Thank you for clicking on it, even if you don't watch the whole thing. But, it'd be really cool if you did watch the whole thing. Just know, I try really hard, to edit these things and to try not to have a lot of, just downtime where you're just like, and it's not interesting. I cut a lot of stuff out just to really try hard to, like I said, to keep it interesting. I watch a ton of YouTube myself, and I find myself in some videos, even stuff that I'm really interested in, sometimes I just kind of go into screensaver mode. You just sit there, just looking at it, and you just don't even realize what's going on, right? So I try really hard. I know I'm not the greatest editor, but I do try hard with each video to try to make something a little bit better or add something more to it to make it a little bit more interesting. Like I always say, if anybody has, anything that they want to, comment on, like, hey, try doing this, don't do that, to try to help me to make my videos more interesting for you, the people that are watching them, I do really enjoy the feedback. It is very motivating to know that somebody's kind of riding along with you. You know what I mean? They want to see this thing done, and they like what you're doing or dislike what you're doing. For me anyway, it is. I assume it's like that for a lot of creators. I mean, hell, what are we doing it for? If not for people to like it. So, with that being said, I've been looking at like the analytics a lot, and it doesn't seem like people are watching to the end. So I'm thinking about maybe condensing it down, and instead of trying to put out videos every 2 weeks, maybe I might try to start doing a shorter video, like maybe an 6 to 8 minute video each week. I mean, I've got plenty of content. Maybe I could do that, and maybe everybody will like it more because they do more frequent. I don't know. If you're watching this now at this point, like I said, thank you. Comment. Let me know. Would you like to see a shorter video each week, or try to stick with the every 2 weeks and a 15 to 20 minute video? Like I said, help me make the channel better and more enjoyable for you, the viewer. I go back, I watch every video before I post them and try to make sure they're interesting. I hope they are. If you watched it this far, obviously you probably thought it was kind of interesting. So, as always, thank you so very much for watching. Hit the little like button if you liked it. Let me know. Comment, give me a little feedback. I enjoy it all. I enjoy making the videos. Got a lot more to make. Little sneak peek of what's behind me. Yeah, that's the front axle. It gets really good, y'all. As always, come back for the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Like, subscribe. Come see me in the next one.